All right, so it's been a while since we've done a tier list update, and we will be doing a JP PvP tier list update going over the next 2 months of units, all the ones coming before Spirit Dive, including Mara Leona, seeing how the meta shifts, and we're going to be talking about the major players and the teams that I've been seeing. Now, the Exodia guild helped a lot with this JP tier list, so shout out to them. I'm currently in the guild now that I have a JP account, so we're going to be going over all of their thoughts. These are a lot of top players that they are taking this from. A lot of mono red players, a lot of teams trying to make Spirit Dive good, right? I saw Bobben trying to make a Spirit Dive with 500 accuracy, or was it 600? I don't remember anymore. Seeing if that might work, because I'm just saying, one of the main things why I'm fine with Spirit Dive not being rated in this is because a lot of us are trying to kind of cope a bit, maybe, to see if Spirit Dive is better than we actually are seeing right now, because as of right now, we can't really rate him as plus. At least I can't. So I think a lot of things are being done there, but we could go and check everything that is coming in the next 2 months. So Mara Leona coming out, I think, on the 18th, if I remember correctly. And then Mimosa and William starting when this season ends. Then we got Vanessa and Zora coming out, well, probably a bit after season 7 starts. And then the season 8 units. Okay, that's going to be the units. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. Now, 7 units changed a lot, all right? A lot changed within this little time, so we're going to go at everything. Now, just to say, the JP tier list is looking a lot more at 5 dupes. But even at that, if we look at it, Mariel does need 5 dupes. Mimosa, like, does it really help her? If I remember, I don't... Hold on. Let me just check, because I don't really remember her dupes. So, SP buff... Okay, so the 5 dupes is not that important. William, irrelevant, so it doesn't really matter. Vanessa dupes do help. Zora dupes do help a bit, but not as much. Noelle, the dupes help tremendously. Real, not that much. So just keep that in mind when we're looking at this tier list. Now then, let's get started. So we're going to slowly go down. This is the new S plus tiers. And before it was only Fuego, Charlotte, Mario, and William. And now we've got Rill and Asta. I think those are the two that they have added. And this is a really good adjustment because it's true, right? Black Asta is very much pretty much, well, he's usable in every single team comp, even the new Zora team comp, right? And in Mono Red, he just completely destroys, right? Asta is insane for Mono Red and definitely deserves the S plus tier, especially now that Rill has come out. I'm going to delete all these because now that we talked about the units that they have added. So Rill is really good. You don't actually see his stats. Well, you don't see his skills, but his stats are there. He's going to be at 125 speed on Mono Red. A bit slower than Yuno, but he has an AoE speed increase with damage reduction on his skill too, which makes him very strong and just insane to run on the Mono Red team, as long as you're not fighting another Mono Red team. If you're fighting another Mono Red team, what I've heard from Ali Conley, who runs the Mono Red team like a Chad with 350 KCC, is that you do want to run Charmy instead if you're fighting Mono Red itself. Now, these two units on Mono Red are great, but off Mono Red, we should have a pretty good unit being Fuego. I was going to say Fuego Leon, and then I said Fuego, and then I said it weird. Anyway, Fuego is really good with Mario, okay? Main reason is because of all the multiplicative stacks he is getting. He has very low AoE scaling, overall being at 110%, but he gets an extra 220% increased damage there, an extra 15% per burn here, and then also an extra 25% from his own skill page, which is going to make it that his AoE, when Mario starts applying her burns by being hit, is going to go crazy. So that's why Fuego does deserve this placement. Okay, even if we look here, I don't really mind scrolling. Oh, Noelle's not here, but now we have this Noelle and also Summer Ghost blocking DOTs and Noelle removing DOTs, which her kit isn't out yet, hopefully added soon, but if not, it's fine. Either way, Ghost does have DOT immunity, and because he's at 116 speed max dupe, it's going to make it so that Ghost is actually going to be very good against Mario. Now, going into green, Charlotte, obviously a no-brainer, doesn't really make, like, come on, Charlotte obviously makes sense, okay? She gives the damage reduction, SP, damage increase, more SP, debuff block, barriers, right? So it makes sense why Charlotte is in S+. Now, Mario 2, it makes total sense. People are going to downplay Mario Leona because of the Mono Green versus Mono Red video, but I feel like I maybe should have put more disclaimers, but I had faith in you guys to maybe kind of understand, but First of all, there's not going to be real-time PvP until much after Mario's time is done, right? But in Arena, Mario is super good against bots, okay? One of the better units, and she can be used even teams off of mono green, right? And even on mono green, there's going to be some very good team comps that we're going to be able to see with Vanessa and Mimosa that I did not show in that mono green video because that was mainly a Spirit Dive video, okay? But Mario is amazing. Damage reduction, AoE damage reduction, AoE stun block, taunting for 2 turns when there's a dot, which is very easy. Really good damage if you want to use this, but you don't need to. You could just keep on spamming the skill 1 and the skill 2 and just being good because this skill 1 is super toxic. Whoever you hit is taunted for 2 turns if they're taking burn damage, right? And then she gives herself at the beginning of the battle, right, until you lose your 8 SP, 30% damage reduction with the stun block. It's really good, okay? And she taunts the person with the highest all attack, which is going to basically render Julius null and void. And then when she's hit, which obviously remembers taunt, and then she gives herself damage reduction here. She's going to be putting burn on everyone every time she's hit. And if it's a combo and she's hit twice, then 2 burns, right? So Mario is amazing. And William does make sense because of Mario Leona. He is able to enable Mario, who has an AoE combo, right? Which I think it's higher, is it not? 2489. I think it's actually that. She's able to enable her with 40% defense penetration being the quickest unit before damage reduction is placed on Charlotte, etc. to go crazy on this AoE and just kill, which is why Mario's very good in this team too. You can build Mario as a DPS, a tank, both work, and it's super good. And we just went over William with his damage reduction, all that good stuff. Being the quickest unit has its merits, besides Zora in a way, I guess. Now, we're going to see some disagreements from me on this part, but overall, I think this is a pretty solid placing on a lot of the units. Charmy, we know, is very good. With her barrier removal, even on the combo, barrier removal is a very strong thing to have for a DPS with a pretty good combo damage, right? Her pumpkin pie is just super strong, very high speed at max dupe, and immortality seals the deal. Okay, once you get her more up dupes, right, it's gonna go even crazier, and you could even get a stun on with the skill 1, so it does work very well with Charmy. Witch Queen, obviously, Asta enabler. Not really gonna talk about Witch Queen, and same with Yuno. We know he's very good. Okay, Yuno's able to just silence anyone. And then also just keep on being annoying, reducing SP with that skill page, right? No, also with his dupes. If we check here, every time you hit someone with silence, he reduces an enemy with an SP -2. So there you go on that. Yuno is very strong. Now, these are 2 units that you guys are not familiar with if you're playing on Global, which is the main reason why I'm making this tier list. And these are 2 very good units that both apply invincibility in their own ways that work very well to synergize together. She applies it at the beginning of the battle to the person with the highest all attack, and then Vanessa could just choose to apply to someone for 2 turns, making it so that if you really want to, you can make Mario survive for 5 turns. 5 turns, guaranteed. Turn 1, she has this. Then turn 2 and 3, she's gonna have this, and then Mario is probably gonna live at least another turn. And then afterwards, Vanessa applies what's it called, immortality, like to Mario if the whole team is green. So you're gonna get invulnerability for 3 turns, and then immortality for 1 turn, and then you're going to be able to go another turn technically. So you should be lasting minimum 4 turns if you're unlucky, but at least 5 turns, even with just at the, usually it's going to be bare minimum 5 turns. So because of this, these 2 work very well together if you want to put them with Mario, right? This team is amazing, right? This team is very good, and I really do recommend it for people who want to run Mario. Whole waifu team actually is good. It's good, okay? And it's actually very annoying to play against mono red, right? Like mono red struggles against it. So let's talk about a bit more. She has also resurrection, which is super strong, and it's gonna be 100% resurrection. It also removes stun block, right? It's gonna heal, or it's just gonna remove stun. My bad. It's gonna heal, give SP if you need it. And I mean, every turn she gives SP +1. Mario is just going to be getting crazy SP if ever she gets reduced. It's going to be good. Same with Vanessa, SP +2. And then with this gives total defense, which is definitely very good. And as we explained with the invulnerability and the immortality for Mario Leona. Plus also what's very good about Vanessa dupe too, she gives 50% stamina every time it's her turn, which makes it extremely useful. So this team in itself is very good, and it makes sense why these 2 are here. Now, these units, I want to talk about it a bit. Ghost makes sense, as you explained, the dot block, and this one too. Noelle is a bit of a rough one, but if you're running her with Mario, there's definitely a place for her, but it's not meta as, well, we see she is an S tier, and this block here, right, I fully agree with. Okay, this block here, I fully agree with. If you put Yuno in S+, I would also agree with that. My one problem is William. I could understand for the most part why he's there. Okay, you could run a decent mono blue team, but definitely not, I think, in my opinion, rating characters as I do. I would not say in my head, right? I have a bit, I guess, of a formula, but it's more so by feeling. And this William, I think, does not reach that. Okay, there are many different teams that can definitely cook this William, but for sure, because it's max dupe, with William and Zora being max dupe, they will work very well together to be able to defend themselves good enough. The problem is the DPS, right? Mono red has Asta, mono green has Mario, and I guess Yuno, but not really. Spirit Dive, I don't know. Spirit Dive just to me at this moment seems like S tier. We really need like an S plus, right? And then if you see here, no DPS, right? No DPS. And we're going to talk about Julius later, but some people are going to go crazy, but it's really, it makes sense. So to me, William is not that crazy, right? He gives his damage reduction later on, but the main thing why I could also understand it is because of the fact that if you survive till then, his damage reduction is good, right? Plus the debuff immunity works very well. It's just a bit rough because he has 100 speed, but still he gives protection, which could work extremely well. And then, I mean, this honestly to me is pretty mid dupe, so you really don't need to dupe him out. But overall, William, I would say, is good. I would maybe rank him more towards A, but S rank is understandable. And Zora for sure S rank. He works very well on a non-mono team with Mario and Asta, as they could take a lot of damage, but he's going to reflect damage. And because it's 300% reflection on the ultimate, that will be, if you do like what, even just 30k damage, that's a 90k damage reflection, which could work out very much in your favor, in your favor, right? And let's say you do 100k, 300k reflection. Okay, very good, very, very good. And if he is on mono blue, even better. It's also going to put buff block to the person with a high solid attack, which is going to stop them from doing damage and make them much less tanky. So I think this is a team I would love to try with max dupe, but it's just not worth it because even at max dupe, it's just not as good as mono green or mono red, which is the problem why I'm so hesitant. But maybe on global, Seraph go crazy on it, and that wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, it's definitely not bad, right? If you have, you could go, the team that I would probably go for is like, maybe Clover Academy, Noel, Luck, William, and Zora. Like, that's one team. If not, you could put Goshen. If not, you can put this Noel in maybe. But I think that William, Zora, Luck, and then a fourth slot could be good. I think we need a fourth slot, we need an S plus supporter that isn't William, because William is good off mono, but not really on mono. And also we need there not to be two blue Williams. So whatever. But yeah. So now we're going to get into this just like bunch of stuff. So there's a couple things we need to check. I mean, this makes sense. Magna, if you put him in B tier, we're going to start speeding through this a bit. Magna, B tier, to me, makes sense. Now, Charlotte maybe could go up, but also, like, makes sense. Noelle, I could see, honestly, this Noelle should go up. Reason being, defense increase with a barrier, defense increase, and she's at 110 speed. She's quicker than Asta, could give the defense increase, give the damage increase. She should be A tier. Now, these guys, makes sense, right? Yuno is actually very good with his immortality removal and immortality being prominent. I don't like Langris being in C. I don't like Licht being in B. I think they should both be in A in my opinion. But that is something that is just a personal thing. Either that or take Fauna out of A. I'm viewing, okay. On JP, Fauna is actually probably a lot better just because of how Mimosa and Vanessa work. So I take back that statement. But I would like Langris to be up at least and some of these units to move down. Okay. Because just seeing Licht is actually very good. Damage-wise, he's going to be very good. Okay. And the problem is you're seeing Fuego, Jack, like Raya in PvP here. I personally don't understand it when Licht, immortality, and good damage because of max dupe crit values. That's the main thing. Now, for this, I agree with it for the most part. Now, the problem with this Vanessa is that this Vanessa exists and you won't be using this Vanessa much. But she's not bad. I could just, at this point, especially because AoE is very much more prominent if we look at it. AoE. Single target, but doesn't really make too much of a difference. The only one it really quenches is Yuno, I guess. Okay. But also AoE with Mario combo, right? So maybe I could see B, but I'm being nitpicky here, right? Like, Fauna and Vanessa are two little nitpicks that I have. But Fauna, I could also see in A. There's for sure an argument for that. Now, Julius, in A. Now, you're going to be like, why? Well, he just doesn't have enough to really stand up to this meta. First of all, debuffs are not going to be as crazy because of how Black Osta's played, and also Vanessa having the total defense. And remember that with the talent, where you block, or you have debuff block when there's total defense up, when you block an attack, well, that's going to make it that his debuffs are not as good. Stun, Mario can't be stunned. Mario applies AoE stun block. Okay, that's the first thing. Then afterwards, I mean, his damage just isn't enough, I guess, at this point. I do think that we are in need of a kind of damage power creep, in my opinion, so that Black Asta and Mario could start leaving the meta, which I thought Spirit Dive Yuno would be, but he was not. His stats are low. That's the main thing. His stats are actually quite low for a DPS. Okay, so that's the unfortunate thing. And then also he's just completely stopped, right? He wants to target Mario. Well, he will be targeting Mario no matter what. So he won't be doing the damage he needs if he wants to use the ult. And then the skill 2 just ain't doing it. Okay. And then if we're looking against the mono red team, at least in this current meta, well, guess what? Real speeds up. So there's not really much of a place for Julius. It's just quite unfortunate, but it is how it is. And then even at that, you cannot stun Asta. You just can't, right? When it's his turn, or before it's his turn, there's stun block, and after, well, I mean, he's going to be an anti-magic because Witch Queen, and then heal back up, and then it's just no point, right? You're just not able to do anything. And even at that, it's just going to be hard to kill an Asta, and then he won't be able to debuff the mono red team because of total defense, and then the mono green team just won't take enough damage because they have the barriers. So Julius kind of loses his place. You will see it once Mario comes out and people start duping out the Mario to max dupe. It's just kind of over for Julius. The second life just isn't enough. Like, he's not horrible, which is why he's an A, but yeah. Now, Lotus makes sense. I mean, he's still able to be usable, but definitely not as good because debuffs, it's very tough for debuffs to be as good. For example, why this Noelle works is because turn 1 debuffs are great. There's no debuff block usually at that point, and you will be able to at least put your damage reduction on the DPS. Second of all, she removes buffs, which penetrates debuff block. So that's the main thing. But Lotus could still definitely work very well. But still, there is not as much of a place for him. Now, Luck, honestly, I'm more of a fan of Luck than Julius because he gives himself 70% damage reduction, which will actually be much better than a second life because this does guarantee you more survivability. And the counterattack does work pretty well until you use this skill 2 and give everyone counterattacks, which could actually be counterintuitive. Why is that? Well, Mario is going to be actually, where is it? So every time she's attacked, right? Every time she takes damage, right? Every time she's attacked, she inflicts burn. If everyone has a counterattack and Mario AoEs, what's going to happen? They're all going to attack Mario, and then 3 burns are being applied to everyone. So not the best. Noelle, honestly, I could see in S tier. I want a bit of discussion down below. I mean, I might ask execution, but she actually is really good. 30% crit res because of her dupe stats is insanely good. And not even just that, when it's her turn, she just heals everyone. It's like a smaller version of Witch Queen, but could work very well. Plus the dot removal is super strong. I think it's definitely a problem of turn 1 teams not being as prominent. Because now even mono red, you're not using anti-magic turn 1. And then mono green, well, I mean, you're not really using Mario combo with Willie. Like, sorry, mono green isn't going to use stuff turn 1. And then the team with William, I mean, it could work against mono blue, I guess. Like, it will. It's just not going to be, like, too crazy, right? I guess. Now, what Noelle does do well is because I just explained it, but I kind of brushed over it because I kind of forgot. But basically, she reduces everyone's damage by 35% turn 1. Everyone's, okay, this healer Noelle, which does put her in a pretty good spot, but the problem is that turn 1 teams are not as prominent as they once were in terms of nuking turn 1 or just doing big damage, right? So that's the main point. Defenders, attackers, everyone gets the damage reduction. She's healing very good. She's removing dots. But in all cases, she's not as good because of the fact it's only against, well, actually, even against mono red because of the fact she removes dots and Witch Queen heals from dots. So, I mean, overall, I could see an argument for S tier, but I could also see the argument for A tier. So, you know, honestly, fair enough. This whole section, I'm almost in complete agreement with, besides some mono blue place, or just some blue placements, right? Besides that, green and red for the most part are nice. Only thing is really Sun Tzu Vanessa, if I'm being very nitpicky. Which, I'm just here for discussion, right? I'm here to talk about units, see what you guys think about the units, and I think that's personally how I should go about these tier lists. Now, looking here, I mean, Charlotte may, not A, there's no way, but it's just like Charmy and like Charlotte are better than these units. So that's my main thing. Like, how would you rank these two units if we know they're better, but these units just aren't good, but you can't specifically say these units are as good as these, but you know for sure they're better than these units. So that's my thing. Now for Yami, I don't see him, right? Like, I have to use him a bit more on global, I guess, to see his max dupe potential, because I do have a max dupe now. I just don't really see it personally. Now for mono red, I don't really have many, or mono red. I'm just referring to it as mono red because at this point, most of the team is mono. If we're being honest, most of the units, most of the teams that we see are mono, but it is what it is. I just feel Langris got like absolutely cooked here. I don't know why, if I'm being honest. Like his crit values aren't horrible. He has immortality. He could heal himself up. He's getting ults pretty quick. His stats aren't bad, but they're definitely not amazing. Like 15k. If we're saying 15k total, how much? So like, okay, 15k total. This is okay. So his stats are overall decently low, for being honest, but nothing like too horrible for this, right? I just think that because of immortality, he should at least be in B tier. Immortality is huge. Okay, immortality is really huge. Besides that, though, I don't really have many problems. Honestly, it's a really good tier list. I mean, hey, you guys get to see the next 2 months of stuff, how things are going to be evolving. Mono green with these 4 units specifically is going to go very hard. The double invulnerability and to Mario having immortality is just crazy. And it's going to make for some very fun gameplay ahead. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was insightful. Let me know what you think down below of my thoughts on the tier list. Do you think that PRYDWEN itself got some things wrong? And I'm asking for people with experience, not people who only watch or who only get to experience the game through my videos. If you do that, I appreciate it. But I don't think your opinion in JP is valid. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. I've slowly been playing more, right? Now that I have JP and KR, I've been putting a lot more time into the JP and KR side and also communicating with the Exodia guild as I am in the guild and talking a lot specifically to Ali about upcoming metas and stuff like that. So that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'll probably update this again. I will, sorry, update this again when Spirit Dive drops in the tier list, because I think we're going to have to talk about that at least for the Spirit Dive update. But the next one will be the global PvP tier list, and I think I'll do that when Mario comes out, or at least a bit before. I might make it my own tier list with the help of others. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace.